Chatham Journal, Asheebo Rojas with the Chatham News and Record. We're doing things a little different today. We're actually live down in Pittsburgh. Why? Because Asheebo was over at JM, and you were there because there was a signing this morning.
Yes, the softball player, senior Logan Gunter, signed for me this morning at 10 o'clock. Congrats to her. She has had a great career so far, her 3 years at JM. Her 4th year is coming up. Talking to her coach, Holly Clark, Gunter is the first D1 signee for Jordan Matthews softball since Clark signed back in 2015 at Charleston Southern. So, cool moment for the Jordan Matthews softball program. Her family were there. All of her teammates were there. So pretty cool to see everybody come out and support. And also, I was talking to Coach Clark. She was glad that Logan won't have that pressure of knowing where she's going to go now for her senior year. So she's going to just play loose and go out there and play some softball like usual this season.
All right, and the Chatham News and Record this week came out today, or is coming out today. So you're going to have a story on that in next week's paper. Is that right?
Yes, because we have some more signings this week. Another big one tomorrow. So
we'll tell you about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else on the Jordan Matthews signing? Is that kind of all right? And I assume you got a picture for that for next week's paper.
Yes, we got some.
All right, we're going to have that there. Also, let's wrap it up. Football. This past weekend, we had 2 Chatham County schools in the playoffs, Chatham Charter and Northwood. How did that go this weekend? First round of the playoffs.
Yeah, so starting with Chatham Central, they went back to Northmoor for the second straight week in the first round. First time they lost 42-8 and played Northmoor pretty closely in the first quarter and first half, is what Coach Little told me. But in this next one there, last Friday, they lost 28-0. Closer game. Talking to DeMonte Johnson at the basketball media day, he said they got some stops on defense this time. We saw the progression from game 1 to now. They definitely got better throughout the year. So hats off to Coach Little on a great first season at Chatham Central. Looking forward to see what they can do next year with some more some players growing up, and more players I'm sure will be interested in playing for them next year. And then up in Northwood, I was at Louisburg for the Northwood and Louisburg game. Definitely did not expect the outcome there. Thought Northwood was going to go in and win that one, but Louisburg, they came out, they made the plays, took advantage of some early Northwood mistakes there, and really got the run game going. So that one, Northwood couldn't really get a stop, even though the offense is clicking. I think Fortunes had, let's see, my stats, Fortunes threw the ball 20 times, 315 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he had a great night. Cam Fowler, he had a great night, and we'll talk about him later because he's my athlete of the week this week. Just couldn't get stops there, and down the stretch, especially down at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. I think Louisburg's running back Eddie got a touchdown with a minute left to go, and when Northwood got the ball back, they just couldn't get it done and take the lead. So they fall in that one, 46-43.
Yeah, that was an interesting game because you and I both felt that Northwood was going to win that one, and they had some Carson had some great throws, and there were some great catches. Yep. And a few interceptions in there. I was a little surprised that they lost.
Yeah, and they had a lot of pretty much all of their playmakers showed up for them for the most part. Even Isaiah Blair, I think he had 2 as well. So just like I said, just couldn't get it done on the defensive end, and that's something I'm sure Coach Johnson will be looking at for next year. I'll catch up with him later on this week, hopefully, and we'll talk about just how the season went.
All right, I want to talk a little bit more about Coach Little. You mentioned Chatham Charter went up against Northmoor again. They lost, and we weren't surprised by that. But Coach Little on his Facebook account just put out a note pretty much to the Bears community that, hey, he enjoyed coaching and that he was looking for a better year next year. I think he's planning to have the kids do more weight training and strength training, and just since they got a year underneath their belt buckle, they're going to do better next year. The other thing I want to let folks know, Asheebo wrote a great article about the 3 black coaches in Chatham County and all of them fairly brand new, both at Seaforth, at Chatham Central, and at JM. If you have not read the article, you need to look it up and read it. But why don't you give us a little bit about the history of how you did that? Because that was a very interesting story, and I think I've spoken to a few people that found that not only an interesting story, but a very informative story.
Yeah, so I was pretty much unknowing of their relationship before Jordan Matthews and Seaforth played each other. Seaforth won the game, and afterwards I talked to Coach Gary, and he told me, right after I finished the interview, he was like, one more thing, hats off to Coach Johnson, great program, and he told me that Coach Johnson really helped him kind of get acclimated to Chatham County when they both came in together back in 2021. So they had a relationship already from coming into Chatham County, even before that, when they were at Southwest Guilford back in 2005. That's when they first crossed paths. And then Coach Little comes in last year, and he had spent some time with Jordan Matthews, which I didn't know either until I sat down with them right before he got the Chatham Central job. So all three coaches, they're really tight-knit when it comes to talking football and having each other's back here the past couple, in this last season especially, because it was kind of rough for all three schools. Seaforth had actually a pretty good season compared to last year. They won 2 more games and set their new single season wins record. So hats off to Coach Gary for doing a great job there at Seaforth. But Jordan Matthews, has some up and downs this season, as of course we know about Chatham Central. So those three really had each other's back. I know Coach Johnson, his message to the coaches this morning will come, especially when they had some tough Friday nights. But they shared some great moments, especially we got to talking about the Chatham Central and JM game. I was telling them that's probably the best football game I've been to all year here in Chatham County for that part. But that was a great game for them. They also had family. Coach Little's family is all over Chatham County. That's also coaching on Coach Johnson's coaching staff. So it's just a really cool dynamic with the three coaches of how their history here and just their history with each other.
Yeah, and Coach Johnson has a long history here in Chatham County. One of the things I know you and I both heard him say is he's looking to bring back football in JM, because he's from a time when JM was a powerhouse in the county and actually statewide. And I think he's also brought back, he had a football media day at the preseason, and actually the inspiration on that, and you were at and we'll talk about that a little bit later. They had a basketball media day here at Northwood just this past Saturday, and Asheebo covered that. Which I'm going to let you folks know, on Friday, Asheebo, myself, and Coach John Berry are going to be together. We're going to do a hour-long pre-season basketball preview, and I'm going to let folks know this is Asheebo's idea, and I think it's a great idea. He's doing a power ranking of all the Chatham County basketball teams, and not the 4 public schools, but also the 2 charter public schools, Chatham Charter and Woods Charter. So you're going to reveal your list. He's going to reveal that list on Friday, although I think you've got it in the paper this week.
Yeah, it is in the paper.
And we talked about it. And folks, you may not have to agree with it, but if you don't agree with us, let us know what you agree or don't agree on. But I think it's a good way, because personally I think basketball season this year is going to be super special, and we'll have more coming up. And again, follow Asheebo. What's your Twitter account again?
At Asheebo R38, so capital A SHEEBO, capital R, and then the number 38, and you'll find me on there.
And look for that. And actually, I was at the Northwood Parents Winter Team Sports meeting yesterday, and I mentioned to the folks to watch him on Twitter as well, because you're going to get information that the previous news and record sports writer wasn't doing. So Asheebo's out there. He's tweeting, he's taking pictures, and he's also doing videos. So take advantage of that. Volleyball ended a couple weeks ago, so yeah, everything's over with that. Do you want to say anything, or do you want to just jump into soccer? Because soccer playoffs are still going.
Oh no, let's jump into soccer.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go into soccer. Who's still left in the playoffs?
Well, to no one's surprise, is Jordan Matthews. The Jets are still in it. They'll be playing in the 4th round tomorrow night at Franklin Academy. Franklin Academy is the 2 seed, very tough opponent for the Jets. They won their 3rd round game. I forgot who was over, but it was 10-1. So definitely going to be a tough one for Jordan Matthews. And on Monday they were in a tough one against I forgot who they were playing.
I know it seems like a week ago.
I know. I was just there.
Look, it's an especially busy time of year right now.
I'm sorry.
But no, they won money, and the thing is, overall, they've been the strongest soccer team in the county, don't you think?
Yeah, Rose Hill, that's what it was. Yeah, and that one, it was a tough game. Probably the most challenge I've seen them, kind of most challenging game they've been in this year. And in the beginning, it was hard for them to get opportunities at the goal at the start. And Rose Hill kept the ball on their end for a good bit of time there. But shout out to Jonathan Campos, he was really big for them defensively. Every time it seemed like someone got behind, he was running back and kicking it away. Angelo Vera at the goalie position did very well as well, keeping Wallace Rose Hill out the goal. And also too, Jonathan had the great free kick that to Francisco there in the first half that gave them the only score of the game. So, and that was Coach Cardo's message after the game is you only need one in the playoffs. You only need one goal to win the game. So, they're really excited to go out there tomorrow and show what they can do, especially against Franklin Academy. Up there they have a lot of kids that play club sports and get some top of the line training. Coach Cardo's message to the team is this is what they do. They play soccer all year round in Solid City, all their lives. It's in their blood. So really excited to see how that's going to turn out tomorrow.
Yeah, the coach has taken the JM team, previous JM team, to the state championship, and they have won. So he's got experience there. So even though it's a tough game, I don't think you can count him out.
No.
It sounds like you're not quite sure who's going to win that game tomorrow, but JM's got a chance. Has there really been a game this season where they've been out of it?
No, not that I've seen. Yeah.
They might have lost.
The Seaforth game was probably the worst game I've seen from them. But that one, Seaforth we were there. Seaforth just did a really good job of defending JM, especially Jack Hayes at the goalie position.
And he was your athlete of the week that week.
Athlete of the week for that week because that was a great performance by him. But Jordan Matthews, they're really athletic, a really deep team. It's Mario Figueroa, Jonathan back in the defense. John Carlo, he's really good at attacking the defenses as well. So and also Francisco, he's been a really solid scorer for JM this year. So just a really deep, fast, athletic team that I think I think they'll definitely have a chance against Franklin Academy tomorrow.
Yeah, so coach and JM team, we hope you the best of luck because hey, we cover Chatham County and we do root for Chatham County when they're playing against non-Chatham County team. I thought I had some kid from Seaforth go, "You're really a Seaforth fan?" I'm like, I know too many folks in this county. Don't make me pick between Chatham County schools. Although Asheebo is going to have a power ranking when it comes to basketball, so that's going to be interesting. I think golf and tennis were pretty much finished off. There's nothing going on there.
We talked about them last week.
They're done last week. But the big weekend Saturday over in Cary is they had the cross country, and I think all the schools. I think Seaforth did especially well, and there were individuals throughout Chatham County who did well. So why don't you let folks know about that?
Yeah, and that's all those results, the big results from Chatham County are on the paper as well. Of course, we're going to start with Jack Anstrom. Congratulations to Jack Anstrom for winning his second straight individual 2A state title. That's the second and the only 2 state championships for Seaforth in school history. So,
and he was your athlete of the week last week?
Last week. For his performance. I think last week he had won the regional race by 46 seconds. So really dominating. He won this one by 26, I think. So he really has been dominating in the past 2 years at the state and regional levels, which is really good. That's where you want to run your best races. But other results, from that race, we had Will Quickie, Henry McFall also joined Anstrom in earning All-State honors and finishing the top 10 in the individual race. And Seaforth, that's the team, came in second. They were the state runner-up. So congrats on a great season for Coach Mitchell and also Coach Tanel Smith of the women's side, too. On the women's side for Seaforth, I think they came in 5th and Northwood came in 9th. Sydney Gray, of course, was the first runner to finish for Northwood there. She came in 7th place with a time of 20:13.28. And Catherine Leonard for Seaforth was the first one to finish for the Hawks in the girls' side at 13th place. And then in the 1A side, we had some runners there as well. For Woods Charter, Alexander Cerrone, he ran the best time for the Wolves, coming in at 29th place. And then Chatham Charter, Soros Prince, and Anna Reese, they finished 7th for Prince and 84th for Reese in the race, representing the Knights. So congrats to them. And then in the girls' side, Sienna Gray. And Anna Peeler raced for the Wolves. Sienna Gray came in 22nd, Peeler in 24th, and Chatham Charter Samantha Scott also raced for the Knights, coming in 38th. And I think for the girls' race, Woods Charter came in 7th place for that one. So great results for Chatham County. We got a state champion. We got some top 10 finishers. So great season for Chatham County cross country there.
Yeah, and I think what most folks need to remember is this is the state championship. So sometimes when you hear they came in 22nd or 38th, it's kind of like, yeah, but this is the state championship. We're not talking your county, we're not talking region, we're not talking a conference, we're talking state championship. So the fact that they finished that high was very good. Seaforth, as you mentioned, the team came in second. Jack came in first.
Yes,
he came in first, so that's really good. So, and I think Jack's a junior this year? Or he's not a senior yet.
Yeah, I think Jack is a junior.
So yeah, he'll be back next year. So look for great things. So yes, and the cross country is over for right now. I think there might be one more event, but then we start with the track and field indoor stuff coming up, don't we?
Yep, indoor this season and winter as well, right before we get into spring for the outdoor. So yeah, not too much of a down season for some of the track and field runners here in cross country, but hats off to them on another great cross country season. Seaforth really has been emerging as the premier team for cross country here with Coach Mitchell. So congrats to him on keeping that program consistent. So
yeah, and for the folks who've been around here for a while, I think some of you remember when Carborough High School opened up. The first 3 years, things were kind of falling into place, and then once they got their fourth year going, they started having very competitive in all sports, and that's what we're seeing, I think, at Seaforth, especially as you see in track and field. All right, let's talk about what's in the paper this week. What kind of stuff do you have in the paper this week? It should be out there today. I don't know. It's a little bit afternoon. I may stop off at Food Line and see if they're out there, but what have you got out in sports this week?
Yeah, this week, sports is a big basketball week. We know season's getting started this Saturday with some jamborees and things like that, but giving you an outlook of all the basketball teams from Northwood, Seaforth, JM, Chatham Central, Woods Charter, and Chatham Charter ahead of their start of the season next week. I think Friday the 17th is when we'll start seeing some regular season games. And so, yeah, we got the boys basketball preview. We got the girls basketball preview. We also have a feature on Tyler Zeller, who's coming into his third year, helping Northwood as an assistant.
Now, you were surprised when you found out he was the assistant coach, weren't you?
Yeah, I was surprised. That's going to be part of the story. He's really quiet about it.
Yes, he is.
He's a very humble guy. So I talked to Coach Vernon. I was like, Vernon, there's never been a story about this in 3 years. He was like, no, and now it is. But the Northwood basketball, they've really enjoyed having him the past couple of years, especially Drake Powell, who will be signing to UNC tomorrow.
Let's talk about that. That's happening tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Asheebo is going to be there tomorrow. Can we tell him where it's at? I don't know. It might be a secret. That's happening at 11 o'clock. So Asheebo will be covering that, and that will be in next week's paper.
Yes.
All right. So for people that don't already know, where's Drake committing to?
He will be a Tar Heel. He'll be right up the road, right up there at UNC with Coach Davis. So I know he's really excited about that. And I asked him at Basketball Media Day, I asked him, where him and Tyler are kind of talking about UNC. And they don't talk much about the school, but Tyler does tell him, and it's in the story that, Tyler tells Drake that he was better than he ever was, which is high praise coming from an 8-year NBA vet, national champion here at UNC. So expecting big things from Drake Powell this season, not just this season, but also when he gets up there in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I talked with Jeff Denny, who played back under Dean Smith, and he said the same thing about Drake. And the other thing he said about Drake that was interesting is he mentioned that Drake's an unselfish player. He mentioned that watching the team play, and he's been watching them for several years, just like Coach Zeller there. If he's got a shot, but he sees a teammate's got a better shot, he will pass it off to him. So he's really upped his ante this summertime. He's in the top 10 or top 5 in the county. I think North Carolina. Well, a high school OT's got him like in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is in everyone's. He's just about top 5, top 10 in a lot of people's recruit ratings, prospect rankings. So he's really been having a great offseason. He also spent some time with the U.S. Men's National Junior Basketball Team back a few weeks ago in October, and he talked about that, just all the skills he picked up, some of the insight he picked up from some guys on the pro level, also at the college level. So he's really been, keeping on, staying consistent this offseason, and also big things coming. Well, we're expecting big things from Northwood basketball this year, the state runner-ups, and they really want to finish the job. So
right, yeah, we're going to talk more about that on Saturday, because Asheebo was at the media day on Saturday for both the girls and the boys, and we're going to touch on that as well. Mm-hmm. Athlete of the week, who was that this week?
Yeah, Cam Fowler. He from Northwood.
Number 8.
great night against Louisburg. 2 touchdowns offensively, and then he had the pick 6 that was really impressive. He picked off the screen pass, took it 43 yards to the house. So a big night for Cam, and he's only a sophomore. He's really had a great season, and he's one of the pieces where you look at Northwood that you see that they have a great future ahead of them. Him, Grayson Cox, and then also some of the juniors that will be coming back next year, like Isaiah Blair.
Isaiah had a good catch. He got that catch.
Yeah.
There's a video out there, and there's a picture of it. Was it Carson threw it, and there were 2 defenders. They both went up for it, and the ball went in between them. And Isaiah catches the ball, and boom, he's out of there.
Yeah.
So, you guys, if you haven't been seeing those games, or if you haven't been following Asheebo on Twitter, you've missed a lot in football. And I would recommend you follow Asheebo on Twitter for basketball season, because there's a lot going on in basketball. We'll talk more about that on Friday. Anything else we need to know about what's in the paper this week or coming out next week?
Oh yeah, also part of the basketball previews, we got a little bit of a kind of a story on Seaforth's new coach, Leo Brunelli.
Okay.
Storied high school basketball coach here in North Carolina. He won 3A state championship back in, I think it was 2012, 2013, with Isaiah Hicks at J.F. Webb High School. So he's coming to Chatham County, where he's played Northwood a couple years. He was in Granville County. So I know he's decided to come back, and we'll talk more about him on Friday. But he's got a lot of big shoes to fill there, the Seaforth program, especially with Gerard Stevenson and Jaron Stevenson going on to Alabama. And also shout out to Jaron Stevenson. He's had a great debut for Alabama this week.
Yeah, he played at the Alabama Wake Forest game.
I think that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and did that. He played, I think, 18 minutes on that one. So he's over in Alabama. So Jaron, congratulations on that. And we'll have another Chatham County person playing in the 1A college level next year with Drake. What's your schedule for the rest of the week? I know PJ has asked me. I'm probably going to be at the Woods game and take pictures. They've got their first basketball game on Friday, the girls and boys. I think I'll probably be on that. What are you doing between now and next week?
Not totally sure just yet. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to tackle basketball this year and where I'm going to head to. So I'll still be looking out to see where I should be headed to for the next week. But I'll let you guys know when I do on Twitter. So just stay on the lookout.
All right. It is a crazy week. I am going to put in a plug that Friday is off for it's Veterans Day, so schools here in Chatham County have off. The Northwood basketball team is doing a fundraiser on Friday morning from 9 to noon time. And what it is you can bring your kids. It's $50 for the first kid, $10 for each additional kid. It's going to be pretty much a basketball camp run by the players. And why are they doing this? They're doing this because they've been invited to a tournament in Portland, Oregon. 80% of their travel is being picked up by the tournament. However, they still have to pick up other expenses. So if you've got a kid that's interested in and you want to get a kid out of your hair for a few hours in the morning time, it's worth considering. You can go to the Northwood Athletics Facebook page, and there's a form there you can fill out. You just bring your payment with you, and I think the kids will have a good time. You know, they're going to have an opportunity to play and practice with a team that we think is going to do and get into the state playoff and hopefully go a long way. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Please come back and see us on Friday. It's going to be Asheebo, myself, and Coach Barry. We're going to do a basketball preview. We're going to pull out and introduce Asheebo's power rating. I may make it. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what he's going to say. I may agree with him. I may not disagree with him, but I think it's a good opportunity for us to talk a lot of good basketball here in the county. So, again, this is the man to follow. Pick up a newspaper. It's only $1, and you'll be able to see the basketball preview, athlete of the week, Cam Fowler. I know Cam's mom and dad are like going to buy a whole bunch of issues. Yeah, Cam's mom is like super Cam fan. Speaking of which, Cam is not just a one-sport athlete, is he?
No, he's also on the basketball squad. And when I talked to Coach Zeller said he's one of the players that stood out to him as well. So Cam has really been killing it this year. And like I said, he's only a sophomore. So
all right, so folks, Chatham County is where the basketball action is going to be this year. Definitely follow Asheebo on Twitter. Pick up a newspaper. And I'm going to do this one more time. Your Twitter tagline.
Yep, at Asheebo R38, that's capital A, and then SHEEBO, capital R 38.
All right, and when I see his stuff on Twitter, I try to retweet that stuff as well. So it's definitely worth the follow. If you can't make it to a game, this guy's keeping you up to date as to what's going on. Asheebo, thank you very much. We will see you folks on Friday. And again, appreciate the folks that are watching. Last week we had over 300 views, and just keep it coming. We want to grow it. This is just a new opportunity for us to get more information out. And Asheebo is not just in print, but he's on Twitter and he's also video. So thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you.